That isn't what it meant.
Well, what did it mean then? Explain.
It meant that it's indicative of low-resolution thinking.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
The reason the market is doing what it's doing is people are sitting at home getting the checks from the government, okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people, and I think it's inappropriate. We all got to work together and pull it together.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
They felt pretty comfortable after day 2.
In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt. They hold this institution in contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt. They think that maybe, given all of the crises facing this country, it's about time that there was some bold leadership here and that this institution made some hard choices. Who are you worried about? I'll tell you who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that our workers are seeing a decline in their standard of living. They want to see our industry be rebuilt. That's what they want to see. No more B-2 bombers, no more Star Wars. Let's make the quality products we need. Let's invest in American industry. No, I won't yield. I won't yield.
Across this country, we've seen this new phenomenon lately, chanted at sporting events and on signs. The phrase is "Let's go Brandon," a sort of code for a profane slogan.
You're dying. That's true. You're dying. You're dying. You're dying. You're dying. That's true. And it is what it is.
The truth of the matter is that when you look at some of my policies, the truth of the matter is, in a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was.
That isn't what it meant.
Well, what did it mean then? Explain.
It meant that it's indicative of low-resolution thinking.
know who created Pokemon Go. But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
The world is actually a small piece of the universe, right? And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent.
But I think that the woman with the leaking pussy,
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic trying to get comfortable. Stylation. Max the dog. Maxie, over here. Over here. Over here. Over here. Over here, doggy. Over here. We got the dog here, folks. That's right. We got Max the dog. We got Max the goddamn dog. Look at him. Hold up. Let me fix this camera for the dog. Oh, there it is. You might notice I have new bedding that was acquired. Max the dog. Max the dog. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Can you hear him? Is he audible? This is the part of the stream where just pet this dog until he gets bored. Maxie, you want to come up here? You want to come up here? Oh. I guess the answer is no. All right, look at this dog. He's so good. Might be my last live show for a while. Make a count. Oh no. We are losing Sal. It's over. It's fucking over for Sal. It is over. It's over. Hey, Maxie, come over here. Look at him. How about this, Sal? Sleep when you get home from work. Wake up early. Watch the show. Huh? Anything? No? Not happening? All right. Choking on ashes. Welcome to the goddamn, emphasis on goddamn, the goddamn. So folks, I didn't do a show yesterday. There was a demonstration and a presser in town that I wanted to attend, and I also just, I felt like taking the opportunity to take a day off. I haven't taken a day off in a while. When it comes to doing a show, so, didn't do one yesterday, but, I'm here today. I'm alive. I got new bedding. The new bed is ing. It is an active. Why is it called bedding? Like, what is that? You ever think about that? Bedding. Like betting. Like I'm betting on the horses, except you're sleeping in it. A little weird. But anyway, this is not a DB Cooper quotation. This is someone that said that they really enjoyed the last show that I did. If you didn't watch the last show that I did, I got rave reviews on it. The last show, 1409. I got a lot of positive comments on it, so I picked the best one and threw that in the quotation. It's not the routine. I work late, and my sleep's been wrecked since I've been off for the last 4.5 months. Sal, it sounds like what you need is some mindfulness, meditation, right? And lucid dreaming. That's what it sounds like you need. I remember that's something that fixed my sleeping schedule, is you get yourself in this really good routine, something to look forward to, a skill to learn, something to make you want to be more well rested. It's pretty good. 1409 was a masterpiece. God damn. You took acid today? Like when? How many hours ago? And/or minutes? The cops came in? Why were the cops coming in? That's a good question. But yeah, I got a lot of rave reviews on the last shoe. A lot of high quality opinions on the last shoe. We got a dog in the background. Look at this. Maxie! Max! 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 I love him. They are investigating my pervy pastor neighbor. That sounds like a fucking. I think I can end the sentence there. 11 hours ago. Oh shit. All right, folks. So we got a show. I've got a show. You have nothing. There is nothing that you have. Your life is meaningless. Your life is pointless. And honestly, I don't even know how you made it this far. But I, on the other hand, have a show. And so we're going to get into the show. Did you see the link I sent you? I don't know. I would like to issue a public apology to everyone. I know my shows have been a little off course for the last month maybe. Little off course. Here's the Johnny the Walrus read along with Matt Walsh. How long is this shit? It's 4:20. That's good. Maybe I'll do this. That's possible. But yeah, so I'd like to apologize. I have the same amount invested in crypto than I did 3 days ago, so at least I have that. Okay, so let me hold on. Okay. I have the same amount invested in crypto than The correct word there would be as, but you said than, which implies like, you know, an imbalance. There's an imbalance implied by that word. And I can't understand it. He wrote an anti-trans kids book. Yeah, I saw you. You posted that in the chat earlier. You know, what are you going to do? But yeah, maybe, you know, I've got that open in another tab now, so. Now you can do an I'm sorry emotional thumbnail. I should. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. You know, I've been, you know, maybe it's just all in my head. It's possible it's all in my head. But I feel like my shows have been drifting in quality. Maybe not quality, but in style lately. So it's possible. In fact, let me take my medication. Maybe that's one of the problems here. Sunday. All right. Let's medicate myself. I'm alive. All right. Is it like that movie? There's like a movie called like Walrus or Tusk. I think it's called Tusk. Is it like Tusk? It's a good movie. It's a good movie. All right, let me get my wires in order. Get that out there. All right. I like how you can see the light shifting, you know, it's pretty cool. Look at that. Like it's the same image, but the lighting changes. Okay, anyway, so we've got a show here. I've got a show, again, you have nothing. And so let's get into it. So let's see, what do we have here? Since I didn't do the show yesterday, that means that I have to figure out what the numbers that I keep track of are. So 26 and 27, I think, according to reports. All right. All right, and wait for it. All right. Whoa. Whoa. Speaking of movies, I watched Pig last night, Nicolas Cage. Highly recommended. It's a good movie. Anyway, so the other day was day 226 in protesting over the police shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Yesterday was day 227, but, you know, the demonstrations are relatively similar from day to day. And so, but, you know, again, I like to have a complete course here. But again, so yeah, the day before, 226, we had some people setting up for the Christmas parade, which was yesterday. They were setting up over the last couple of days. And, you know, again, there's been a lot going on here. And, in Elizabeth City. I mentioned this a couple of days ago, but there's been an explosion of like gun violence in Elizabeth City. Not related to the police, but of course the police. People always say, all right, we need cops. We need them. Yeah, they keep killing people all the time, but we need them. We need them. So we need the cops. And yet the cops don't do anything. Like they're somehow they're not able to stop crime or help people survive or keep people alive. They're not able to, you know, maybe, I don't know, arrest people that are involved or would be involved in these shootouts that are like, you know, there's a lot going on in Elizabeth City. So I'm always like, whenever the cops kill someone, you always have this group of people. Oh, but who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? What do you mean when they do this and that and that and that and then this and that? Who are you going to call when they do that? And then you're going to call, nope. Again, but whenever there's something that happens, the cops are too little too late all the time, every single time. And so, and so again, that's just another aspect of what we protest about here. Whoops, this is a different video. Hold the phone, folks, hold the phone. Got some bad producing here. Got some bad producing. Here we go. I'm a little disheveled this morning. Little disheveled. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But anyway, again, I mean, the video is less relevant than me talking about the story, I suppose. But anyway, again, we've been out here for 227 days, I believe. And again, I would like to remind people that really right now we're waiting on a lawsuit, the determination of this lawsuit that is going on in, I believe, federal court against the sheriff's department. And again, there's a lot going on in Elizabeth City. The Elizabeth City Police is notoriously awful. The Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department, again, notoriously awful. The way I see it, they're just parasites and leeches sucking away government tax dollars. There's shootings happening almost every single day. And no one, the cops aren't doing anything about it. They're not, and again, when we really think about it, I want to talk about this as well. When we really think about these things, like, a lot of the shootings going on in Elizabeth City are gang related. Right? What are gangs' main source of power? The drug war. If drugs were not, illegal, Schedule 1, the DEA is going to come knock down your door. If that weren't the case, and you could just go down to the coffee shop and get whatever drug you wanted, gangs would not have as much power. Now, would they still exist? Probably, but they wouldn't have as much power, right? And so we're living in a state, North Carolina, where things like marijuana, you can go to jail for months or years for smoking a blunt on your walk home from work. You're working retail, you're working in fast food, right? And so you're just trying to unwind before you get home, and boom, a year in prison. It's just, it's ridiculous, right? And then this causes this subculture, a black market that provides power to these people. Again, where would gangs get their power if, it weren't for the drug war? I'm just asking. But then I wonder, why do people join gangs? Well, it's because capitalism sucks dick. It's because this country is garbage and people feel like they have no options in life. What are you going to do? Join the military or join a gang, and at least you can stay at home? And so again, we're living in a society where there's a completely made up, manufactured problem, and the cops do nothing. The government does nothing. All they do is show up, clean up the bodies, and move along, because this country doesn't fix problems. This country looks at problems, says, wow, that's a problem, and then goes home and does nothing and doesn't give a shit. And that's the problem with this country. Look, hey, Andrew Brown Jr. was a drug dealer. He was in drugs. He got shot and killed. But guess what? Did the drug problem stop? No! Is there still problems in the community with drug overdoses? Absolutely. Are drugs still in the city? Absolutely. So again, they went in there and killed someone because they had to. Andrew Womble, the district attorney, said they couldn't let him get away. They had to kill Andrew Brown because he was a drug dealer. Evil drug dealer. And, hey, I've lived in Elizabeth City for a while, a couple years, right? And I can tell you right now, ever since Andrew Brown Jr. was killed, there's been a lot more shootings. Now, I don't know if there's a correlation. I'm not sure. But all I know is the problem isn't being solved. All I know is that this country is failing. This state, North Carolina, is trash. It is garbage. It is shit on my shoes. The Pasquotank County Board of Commissioners are garbage. They're terrible. The Elizabeth City Council right now, terrible. It's garbage. These are a bunch of people that don't want to do the hard things. They don't want to address the mental health crises in this country. They don't want to address poverty in this country. They don't want to address the decriminalization or legalization of drugs to stop black markets and gangs from having so much power in this country, right? They don't want to address anything because they don't care. They don't give a fuck, right? Because they're not the ones being affected by these shootings. They're not the ones being shot and killed. They're powerful. Their families are protected. They're fine. And because of that, they don't care. And that's a fucking problem for me. That's a problem. So I just wanted to talk about that in this thing because this city, Elizabeth City, is going to shit really fast. And again, as I've been laying out over the last 230-ish videos about, the politics of this city, when I discuss the Andrew Brown case and the protesting, I discuss the politics of Pasquotank County and Elizabeth City often. And again, they haven't addressed any problems. Like, Andrew Brown Jr. was shot and killed. They gave the shooters a raise. They gave the shooters paid vacation. They gave them a new uniform. You know what I mean? Like, the politics of this country, I feel like Pasquotank County, Elizabeth City is a really good bellwether for just how fucked up this fucking stupid ass garbage country is. This city sucks. This county sucks. This state sucks. This country sucks. It's all shit on my shoes. And I know I said that already. But again, this country just looks at problems and says, wow, that's fucked up. And then just goes on their merry way. No one cares at all. And when you try to say, hey, wait a second, maybe we should do something about this, people will go, oh, you're going too far. You're going too far. You're going too far. But then there's another group of people that are like, oh, you got to vote. You got to vote. Vote, vote, vote. Well, in a lot of these states, our rights of being able to vote, well, not necessarily my rights. I'm a white person, right? But a lot of people that are not white, right, their right to vote is being slowly stripped away. And I think the last number I read was 26 states or something have passed anti-voter legislation in the state houses and all that stuff. And so voting isn't going to solve the problem. I'm sorry. Voting is one possible tool in the toolbox. It is a step in the right direction. Yes, we need to vote. Duh. Just like we need to, in order to go somewhere, we need to travel, right? So, yes, we need to vote. But we need people to vote for. We need candidates to vote for. We need to organize, right, an inside and an outside strategy. Because right now, a lot of people just say, vote, 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 vote. Get me in there, vote, vote, vote. And then, all right, we voted. Look at Joe Biden. Historic. The most votes Joe Biden, right, the most votes any presidential candidate's ever gotten. Democrats control the Senate, the House, the presidency. And look at this country. Has anything gotten better? Has your life improved? Well, we voted. We need someone to vote for, right? In Elizabeth City, we are having candidates lining up to vote for. Kirk Rivers is running for mayor. He's been heavily involved in these protests since the start. And so that's good. But again, we also need to remind ourselves that we can't just vote for people to go to office and then say, all right, we voted, so let's go home. We need an inside and an outside strategy. We need people outside to constantly put pressure on the government, right? We need people outside to give the people inside the reason that they need to do what they need to do to fix the problems, right? And again, this is on all forms of government, state, local, municipal, county, federal, all that. All forms of government, probably in the whole world, but definitely in America, because I live here and I know that. We need, and this comes from just people need to start realizing what the fuck's going on. I mean, again, we still have 30% of the country that are Republicans. They're Republicans. In 2021, they just don't give a shit at all about fixing anything. Their kids, fuck their kids. They look at their kids and go I want you to die at the age that I had you because of climate change, because of lack of health care, because maybe you'll get gunned down in the street. Republicans look at their children and say, I hope you die very soon. Because that's the country that they're voting for. That's the country that they're advocating for. They want guns in the streets. They want drugs to be illegal so that there's giant black market gang shootings all the time, right? They want these fascist jackboot thugs like cops to kill people for fun indiscriminately, just going throughout the street, just, shooting people for fun, beating the shit out of people for fun, throwing people in jail for fun, just making things up for fun, planting drugs on people for fun, right? They vote for that. They want that. They want their kids to die as soon as possible. That's Republicans, around 35% of the country, right? And then we look at everyone else, and they just don't give a shit. They just don't give a fuck. No one cares. So the Republicans really want to kill all of our kids. They want to murder the entire population of this country. They want to control it. They want to kill everyone who doesn't conform. They want to kill everyone who's not a white person, not a straight person, not a Christian fundamentalist loser. They want to murder them all. And everyone else is like, whatever. Whatever. Who cares? I don't give a shit. I want to go home and watch Wheel of Fortune. Right? This country sucks. Right? And I'm sick of it. I'm sick. I don't want to spend, again, we all have life, right? A beautiful, amazing thing. We all get this amazing gift, right? Of the human experience. I don't want to spend my days running around outside with a megaphone saying this shit's fucked up all day, every day, right? I don't want to. Clearly, nobody wants to, given the amount of people that actually do demonstrations in the whole country. Right? No one wants to do any of this. But what are the options? We pretend that there's no problem until the problem arrives at our door and shoots us in the head, or we do something about it collectively. Because the more people that involve themselves in this process, the easier it is for everyone. Right? Imagine doing everything yourself. Imagine doing 100% of the job all yourself. Versus you have 20 people that are helping you. Now you're only doing 5%. Now imagine you have 200 people helping you. Now you're only doing 0.5%, etc. And that's why we all need to band together, because the more people that organize, the more people that try to change things, the easier it becomes for everyone involved. And that's what we have to remember. So again, I just wanted to talk about that. Because how can we live in a world where people can murder people, then paid vacation, raise, all on our dime? I paid for that. I gave my money to the government, and the government spent my money on giving a murderer, an assassin, an increased salary. They've already got too much money. They got more money from my money. I could have spent my money on weed, motherfucker. I could have bought a cake at the bakery, motherfucker. I could have bought the new Halo game. But instead, what I had to do was give my money to the Pasquotank fucking County Sheriff's Department. Oh, I'm sorry, the peace officers now. That's what they're calling themselves. I had to give my money to them. What the fuck is that shit? Imagine that. But anyway, I just wanted to go on a little bit of an open-ended one on that one. Yeah. Cloud, I'm sorry, we disagree on that. Fuck Democrats. Now again, I'm not going to go there and tell you Democrats are the only problem. Of course. I think Republicans are by far and away the most of the problem. But Democrats, man, you will never, ever, 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 no matter how hard you try, get me to stop complaining about Democrats. It's just not going to happen. So, I'm sorry, Cloud. But again, I'm really sick of this shit. I really am. And this is why I've been going on these tears on my show lately. In regards to just human behavior. Again, think about church. People go to church every week and do nothing. They do nothing. They go to church. Praise Jesus! Praise Jesus! Here's my money! Here's my money, Jesus! Here's my money! Praise Jesus! Yes, praise Jesus. How about, instead of praising Jesus, some guy who never existed, but even if they did, it was 2,000 years ago and you know nothing about them. How about instead of that, how about we organize? How about we do something? How about, we feed poor people? How about, we mobilize, campaigns? Like, people literally will go to church every week. Lord Jesus Christ, Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus. Oh, please, Jesus. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Please watch over me, Lord. Watch over me, Lord. They will do that for 3 hours every Sunday. But they don't vote. But they don't, want to stop climate change. But they don't want to, rebuild our infrastructure so your car doesn't get fucking destroyed every time you go home because of the potholes. And I'm not talking about Christian fundamentalist Republicans. I'm not. I'm talking about the rest of you fucking motherfuckers. 70% of Americans believe in God and Jesus and Christianity and all that stupid fucking garbage. Right now, not all of them go to church. In fact, let me just get this statistic. Let me add another statistic here. %40 of Americans go to church on a regular basis. 39% to be very specific. Not all of them are Christian fundamentalist Republicans. So, what the fuck are the rest of y'all motherfuckers doing? My point is the Democrats is a meaningless concept. I disagree, Cloud. Cloud, AOC recently has been shitting on the Democrats. She's been, replying to the Democrats on Twitter. The Twitter account called The Democrats. Again, this is a semantical game. Agree to disagree. I think attacking the party in power, a good thing. But I'm not going to attack the party in power and pretend like the other party's better. Or I'm not going to just pretend the other party doesn't exist. But yeah, I've been going on a tear on my show lately because I'm sick of all the stupid shit we put up with as a species. I'm sick of all the fucking garbage. Look at this pandemic. Does anyone seriously think we're going to do anything about climate change? Does anyone seriously think we're going to do anything about gun violence in this country? 1 million people are dead because of something that we could have never had happen. We could have all stayed home for a couple months. The government could have delivered food, groceries, medications, could have taken care of us, paid our bills, paid us to stay home. They chose not to. The United States government chose to sacrifice 1 million of its citizens to the cult of capitalism, throw them all in the volcano. I disagree, Cloud. I think you're a little bit too paranoid. I don't think anyone watching my show is going to have a takeaway that a third party is going to do anything. The moment someone comes into my chat and starts with a third party nonsense is the moment I fucking make fun of them, Cloud. So I don't think you have to worry about that. I'm sorry. I think you're a little bit, too concerned with that. Again, I've had people come into my show, and you know this, Cloud. You know this. People come in here and go well, what about third parties? Hey, I voted for a third party in 2016. Didn't go so well. So, hey, I'm just throwing that out there. Now, again, I did not vote for a third party in a swing state, to be clear. But, still. But, yeah, so this country sucks. Again, I always think about this. Look at the food that we eat, man. Again, 95%. I know. Roll the eyes. Give me them. But look at the food that we eat. Right? Like, you literally go to work that you hate for $7.25 an hour so that you can buy food that kills you. It's not food. I'm sorry, it's just not food. Right? Like, again, like, at least with, like, alcohol. Right? At least with alcohol, you're getting something out of it. Right? You're getting like, whoa, I'm ready. Whoa. And at least with alcohol, we all know it's poison. Everyone's aware. Yeah, alcohol kills you. Eventually. Eventually, right? We're all aware of that. But again, like, we're wasting our money on poison to kill us. Why even go to work? Why not just stay home? You know what I mean? Like, why even go to work if you're going to spend all your money on garbage you don't need? But that's the cycle. The poverty cycle. People get addicted. People are addicted to killing themselves. It's an addiction. The things that people eat are they're engineered, right? In laboratories to be as addictive as humanly possible. Like, do you know how much money you would save if you just stopped eating shitty food? Because I'll tell you. I used to eat shitty fuck food. I have probably saved thousands of dollars since I quit eating really awful garbage. Since I got my diet in order. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I just want everyone to realize that this is all optional. Everything's optional. You don't have to go to work. Stay home. Why the fuck are you going to work? Well, I mean, obviously, you know, you need to pay rent and all that, but like, if everyone just stopped going to work, think about it. I don't know. It's a concept. But again, you need to have everyone on board. And that's the thing again, is you can't do anything by yourself. You know? Everyone's got to fucking quit this shit. That's the thing, is like, the only way for a third party to possibly have any chance at all is if they accept large dollar donations from corporations. Right? There's no way. Like, look at Bernie in the primary. There is no way that we are going to raise enough money from the grassroots or whatever you want to call it for anything to happen. It's just not going to happen. Especially with a primary, it's a little bit easier. With a third party, it's just not going to happen. I don't think so. I think running as an independent is more... we have proof. I mean, there are more independents in Congress than there are Green Party or People's Party or any of those other stupid shits. So, throwing it out. It is being thrown out. I'm not throwing it in, folks. I'm throwing it out. All right, folks. Let's get into some actual fun news here. Well, fun in quotes. Bloomberg spent billions. He didn't want to be president. Bloomberg had no interest in being president. He wanted to suck up airtime away from Bernie Sanders. That's all it was. And he won epic style. Nick Fuentes virgin clip. I am not familiar with such a clip. But anyway, I've got a Donald Trump clip here, and it's pretty good. So let's watch. So there's an orange man. You may have heard of him. His name is Donald Trump. So there's an orange man that's been on a little bit of a tear recently. He's been giving some phone interviews, and here he is on the phone on Flashpoint, which is some like Christian nationalist bullshit. Let's watch.
In the book, there's also a picture with you and Nancy Pelosi. What you called her Crazy Nancy. What was that like?
Well, she's crazy. There's something wrong with her, and hopefully she won't be there.
So, folks, I want you to listen to what Donald Trump says, and I want to play a game. Can we figure out why Nancy Pelosi is crazy? What is Donald Trump like? What is the supporting evidence for her being crazy? Let's see if we can uncover.
Well, she's crazy. There's something wrong with her, and hopefully she won't be there that much longer. But she is crazy, and she's very bad for our country. And you see that, the divisiveness and the hatred. Very, very bad for our country, and very bad for Christianity, for evangelicals. You look at what's going on with what they're doing is just a terrible thing. They never said it was going to happen, but it's happened. Far worse than anybody thought possible.
Right. That's right. In the book, there's...
I need you. Okay.
Christianity, for evangelicals. You look at what's going on with what's...
You look at what's going on. Okay. So we're looking... Well, I see a dog on my bed. So, okay. Look at what's going on. Okay.
With what they're doing.
What they're doing
is just a terrible thing. They never said it was going to happen.
They never said it. What is it? Like...
Yeah, but it's happened. Far worse than anybody thought possible.
But, okay, so not only are they doing it, they're doing it, it happened, and it is worse than anyone imagined. I'm just sitting here thinking, what the fuck is it? Like, are we talking about Stephen King's It? Like, are we talking about, like, the new films that came out in relation to the book, and if they're actually, like, a good installation to the franchise? What are we talking about here? I have no idea. So I thought that this was really funny, and I wanted to share this with you. Again, like, these motherfuckers, I need you to understand, there is no substance with Republicans. They're all fucking stupid. They're all dumb. And again, imagine watching this, and just imagine watching this and going like, yep. Like you're watching this, the president's talking, the former president, whatever, and you're going like, wow, he nailed it. Wow. Maxie, settle down. Like, imagine watching this, and you're just like, what? Well, the president, he's doing a great job. He's right. Yeah, he's right. No, he nailed it. He's nail on the head. The fuck is he talking about? Like, I really, again, like, I just, it's classic. It's vintage. Some would say it's vintage. But also, on the other side of this coin, we got a coin here, and it's got multiple sides. So, I'm going to see if I can find the other side of this coin. Apparently, I can't. The coin has been deleted. All right, let me find this coin. So on the other side of this coin, we got a coin here. We got Michael Pennis, and he was asked about January 6th again, and he gave the same answer again, But so, all right. What was the problem with January 6th? Right? This is like the divide in the Republican Party, right? Storming the Capitol, right? That was so bad. Mike Pence should have just overturned the election or something. Anyway, let's watch.
I know in my heart of hearts that on that day, we did our duty under the Constitution.
No regrets. No regrets on that day.
But
my thing is, what Constitution? I honestly don't know why Mike Pence did what he did. I can't figure it out. He didn't give a fuck about the Constitution the entire term of Trump's presidency. He didn't give a shit about the Constitution. First Amendment protections, fuck it. Eighth Amendment protections, fuck it. Right? Fourth Amendment protections, fuck it. He didn't give a fuck about the Constitution. But all of a sudden, he did. And I'm glad he did, I guess, at the very end. But again, the Constitution thing, when they always, the Constitution, I'm fascinated by it.
But let me say this. I don't know if President Trump and I will ever see eye to eye on that day. Or that many of our most ardent supporters will agree with my decision that day. But I know I did the right thing. I know.
So again, my question here is why did people storm the Capitol on January 6th? People seem to they just forget. Because they lied about the election being stolen. Now again, I'm going to ask you, if you thought that tyranny or again, think about what they're talking about on the right. It's medical tyranny, it's fascism, the Constitution's being destroyed by the demon rats, all that shit. If you thought that America is going to be stolen by demon rats, like devils from hell, and this is why religion is so bad, because they literally believe in devils and hell. So let's say hell opened up, they devils consumed all the demon rats, and they're trying to kill everyone and stop the world from spinning? Of course you'd storm the Capitol! But wait, that's not true. And really, what it boils down to is Mike Pence played along until the last moment. He was the vice motherfucking president. You don't think he knew what these motherfuckers were planning? He just had no idea. He had no idea that they were planning on stopping the steal. He had no idea. He was just doing his thing, and then when he got evacuated, he's like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm entirely, completely surprised. Really? Really? You're surprised, motherfucker? Vice president. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing the whole fucking time. The whole fucking time. He knew exactly what he was building. He knew exactly what was brewing. He knew exactly what he was enabling. The entire fucking time. So this whole idea of I know I did the right thing by not LARPing on the Senate floor. Huh? What? Bro, you literally pretended that the election was stolen. It's the domino motherfucking effect. If you didn't pretend the election was stolen, you wouldn't have had to, quote, do the right thing on January 6th. You did the wrong thing, Mike Pence, you fucking idiot. You did the wrong thing, goddamn moron. But folks, have we learned our lessons? Has anyone learned any lesson anywhere? So what happened on January 6th? Does anyone remember that day? January 6th is an irrelevant date. It's just another link in the chain link or whatever, in the chain, whatever. My analogies. Really, what the problem in this country is white supremacy. The problem in this country is fascism. I want to ask you, how do you feel about Adolf Hitler? How do you feel about Nazi Germany? If your answer is not too good, then I have a follow-up question. Do you know where Adolf Hitler got his ideas from? You know where he came up with the laws that he instituted in Germany in the 1930s? You know where he came up with that stuff, right? That's right, the United motherfucking States of America, the Jim Crow South. In fact, Adolf Hitler thought that the Jim Crow South system of governance in the United States was so extreme and so racist and such an apartheid system, he thought it would not even be possible to institute in Germany. He thought that the Jim Crow South was so bad that there was no way he could go that far. So, that leads us to going back to the United States. This country is fucked up. This country had a civil war over the idea that black people were property. The fuck? And then, right, the Civil War ended, and everyone was like, gonna turn the page. Gonna turn the page. Right? So in the 1920s, especially, there was a group called the Daughters of the Confederacy, a group of women whose parents and grandparents fought in the Civil War, and they wanted to whitewash the history of the Civil War. They wanted to make it seem like it was heritage, not hate, and they erected all these statues of Confederate generals all across the country, right? That's what they did. Look at the amount of monuments to the Confederacy that were put up. Most of them were in the 1910s and 20s, okay? And then now think about this. So now we're the Daughters of the Confederacy. These people weren't around in the Civil War. Some of them maybe were, but not many. And then they have kids. Now we're in the 1950s and 60s. All right, so now they have kids. And those kids' parents were the Daughters of the Confederacy. So again, they fight a war over the right to own black people. Wow, that's fucked up. Then they lose, but no, there's no punishment. There's no accountability, right? Then they're like, oh, fuck. Well, you don't want to be in a situation where you hate your parents, right? So you're thinking, well, they were just doing the best that they could. They were doing this over other reasons. They didn't really want to own black people, right? They didn't. And then they have kids, right? Now we're in 1990s, right? Racism's over. There's black people on TV. The civil rights movement. Look, black people get to vote now. Isn't that great? Isn't that cute? The blacks get to vote. What a good country we are. We are so good to those people. Aren't we amazing? Right? Wow. There's no reparations. Redlining is still a problem. Look at police brutality. But this country solved racism. And then there's a black president. Racism's over. It's done. No one cares anymore. It's in the past. We've turned the page, right? Wrong, motherfucker. Wrong. Look at this shit. Okay, I need you to watch what's going on in this country. Right, January 6th. Is it a problem? Yeah, they tried to fucking literally destroy the U.S. government. Again! This happened in the the 1800s, right? The 1840s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, they tried to destroy the government and they failed. And then so ever since then, they've been working around behind the scenes. They've been, whitewashing the things. They've been trying to control education. They've been doing all this and that and this and that. And now here we are. They tried to overthrow democracy, quote unquote, we don't live in a democracy. We live in a fucking fascist republic. I personally think so. That's what we live in now, right? It's just not openly fascist yet. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic, right? They tried to literally destroy the government. Nothing happened. Donald Trump's still going out there saying, oh, they stole the election. Now look at what we got. We got literal neo-Nazis. Remember what happened in Charlottesville? You remember that? No accountability. No lessons learned in this country.
Liberty! Victory! Life! 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 Liberty!
Folks, like, I mean, like, we got a whole thread here that's just, like, it's incredible. Like, you see this. There's a lot of these motherfuckers. People think, oh, January 6th. There's only a couple hundred doofuses in January 6th, right? There's only a couple hundred doofuses. Look, it was the QAnon shaman. It was my grandma. They were wandering, or they didn't know what was going on. Just a bunch of doofuses. Now, a year later, almost, 11 months later, this is a literal neo-Nazi march. Do you want to know what Patriot Front is? You might not have heard about them. Patriot Front is the spin-off group of Patriot Prayer. Now, why did they spin off? You might be wondering. Well, there were a lot of mass shootings, terror attacks from the right, like the El Paso shooter, that kind of stuff. And there was a big divide in right-wing paramilitary militias. Do we endorse these mass shooters? Do we endorse these right-wing terrorists? Do we endorse the destruction of synagogues across this country? Do we endorse the murders of black churches? Do we endorse police killings of black people? Patriot Front is the group of people that were like, yeah, we do endorse those things. The other people were like, no, we should stay, we should wear the suits and the ties, and then, you know, do a little bit more before we openly embrace violence. Patriot Front, they said, no, fuck that. It's time to embrace violence. These are the fucking groups of spin-offs, right, of the other groups. These are the motherfuckers that decided, yes, violence is good. Fascism is good. Kill the black people. Once and for all. And again, I need you to understand that this isn't going anywhere. Oh, Biden won. Biden won the election. The problem solved. Racism is solved once again. Are you joking? Or is this a funny joke that you're playing? Is this like a routine? Are you doing like a stand-up bit? Racism's over. Again, folks, I mean, this shit's fucked up. Like, again, like, they're literally at the Capitol wanting and demanding to reclaim America.
Warlords and useful idiots!
Like, look at this cowboy hat bullshit. Again, they're just literally wandering around. And you can look at this whole thread yourself. It got a little bit hectic as well. They got lost, apparently, which I found very entertaining. But again, these groups have been terrorizing America for years. They tried to overthrow the Capitol. They failed. Or did they? They're just going to try again. Right? They've been doing this all across the country forever. Ever since the Civil War ended. And no one gives a fuck. The only people that give a fuck is Antifa. And look at how the mainstream media treats Antifa. Right? The only time that there's any consequences for any of these motherfuckers is when anti-fascists show up and run them off. But you know what happens? When that happens, the cops abuse anti-fascists and protect the fascists. Right? We've seen this happen over and over and over. I mean, again, look at Charlottesville, right? anti-fascists show up and say, we don't like this, things get spicy, right? And then the police show up and allow all the murders to happen. And are right-wingers ever murdered? No. No. Whenever cops are involved, they're protecting the right-wingers. Right? Because no one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. And every time that they lose, quote unquote, every time that they get ran out of a city, which happens all the time, you see countless videos posted of, oh, look, we made fun of the fascists in X city, Philadelphia, Denver, Portland, etc. Then they just come back with more cops, more guns, more people, and eventually they're going to come back. And then again, look what happened in Florida. There was this case of an anti-fascist after January 6th. They posted on Facebook that we need to prepare to defend ourselves. They got 5 years in jail for a Facebook post. So the only people in this country that are willing to do anything at all about the incoming fascist threat are being thrown in jail for Facebook posts. I need you to understand, right? When everyone who runs these people out of cities like Philadelphia, Denver, Portland, etc., when they are all in jail, then what? Then they're just going to go around, wreak havoc, and then maybe January 6th, 2025 will be the time that they overtake the government. Folks, I need, like, I don't know, I've been going off on this one, but like, if you're one of those dumb motherfuckers who's like, Antifa's just as bad as the neo-Nazis, were you saying that same thing in 1944? You know, Hitler's really bad. But the idea, like, it, remember that Candace Owens quote where it was like, Hitler building concentration camps and, committing a genocide of Jewish people, that's fine as long as he stayed inside the borders. When he went into Poland and France, that was really when Hitler got out of control. He should have just kept the concentration camps in Germany. That's what Candace Owens said. Remember that? Like, the idea that combating racism is as bad as racism itself, I'm sorry, it's dumb as hell. I mean, it's dumb as hell. And you see these people, they're not that bright. I mean, in order to be a fascist, you can't be that bright. Their organizing isn't that good. But it's a hell of a lot better than the left. There is no organizing on the left. Because whenever there is organizing on the left, people get shot and killed. People get assassinated. People get thrown in jail. And whenever there's any threat against the fascists, whenever there's any hint of consequence, the cops come in and beat the shit out of everyone else. 80% of cops voted for Trump, the guy who tried to overthrow the country, the guy who tried to destroy the United States. 80% of cops voted for that guy. So if you think anti-fascists and fascists are having a street fight, if you think that the cops are going to be an equal arbiter there, I'm sorry, you're delusional. They got this same treatment yesterday in D.C. that they did on January 6th. The cops kept all the critics away, all the anti-fascists away, and they let the fascists do whatever they wanted. So, I don't know, man. This country's fucked up. This country is fucked up. Another thing about organizing, Like, one of the big problems with, like, left organizing is that nothing ever lasts. There's always an expiration date. Like, Patriot Front is a group that's existed for multiple years. Can you name any left-wing organization that is, like, you know, equivalently, like, prepared at all for anything in regards to fascist overtaking of the government and society and culture that's lasted that long? Like, you might have institutional organizations and they might do good work, absolutely, right? But I'm saying anything even remotely as radical as, like, the Black Panther Party, right? Have you seen anything like that anywhere? Nope. Like, you can see all these fascist groups do all of these demonstrations, like, getting all this airtime, getting all this money and all this power, and you see almost, I mean, not to say that the groups don't exist, but my point is, they're not positioned at all to enact the change as quickly as it's required in order to overtake this shit. One of the biggest problems with organizing on the left is leftists are poor. We don't have fucking time for this shit. We can't get billionaires to fund our fucking adventures in the streets. We can't get billionaires to buy us hotel rooms at the most fancy hotel in Washington, D.C. so that we can have a war room the weekend before January 6th. You can't get billionaires to do anything. And then also, because of a society where things like the CIA, the FBI, etc., the federal government, has been directly involved in infiltrating left-wing organizations and assassinating members of left-wing organizations. Again, look what happened with Fred Hampton. Right? That's created a culture of paranoia on the left. Do you know how fucking bad paranoia is in left-wing organizations? I mean, like, even, like, look at liberals. Like, anyone who's to the left of Adolf Hitler is a paranoid, delusional moron. Myself included. We're all fucked up. Everyone thinks that everyone else is, you know, secretly this and a fake that and all that, and it's ridiculous. Like, look at the liberals who think that, oh, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump are the same. Bernie Sanders helped Donald Trump become president by advocating for healthcare. What? And then look at these weirdos, right, like the third-party grifters. Right, the third-party weirdos. Like, again, imagine, that's your contribution to society. I'm going to make a third party. Okay, great. Everyone else, they're all fake. We're the only real leftists. Every organization has to deal with paranoia. Paranoia is a mind virus. You ever see the movie Inception? Think about it like that. Right? It is a virus of the mind. The idea that anyone, anywhere could be a secret infiltrator, that alone is even more damaging. You don't need to pay anymore. You don't need to have actual secret infiltrators anymore because everyone thinks everyone else is a secret infiltrator. Gossip and paranoia kill movements. I've seen it all over the place. Everywhere. Everyone hates each other over petty bullshit. Everyone's afraid of everyone else. Everyone focuses on disagreements instead of agreements. Because we're all fucking stupid. We're all dumb. We're all dumb motherfuckers. Please send me more info on that, Mila and Falcon. I've been, you know, I've been pretty bad with following that kind of stuff lately, so please please send me some of that stuff. The Twilight Zone's really good. I highly recommend watching The Twilight Zone, especially when you do drugs. But again, I just have a lot of problems with the way that society functions and the way that the average person navigates through society as it is. Everyone hates each other over stupid shit. Like you disagree about movies or like music, and you hate each other. Like, I don't know, man. I'm getting a little hyperbolic here, but only a little. But I don't know. It's really frustrating to deal with. It's really frustrating. I haven't seen the Jordan Peele Twilight Zone. Is it good? I don't know. It's all falling apart, folks. My friend, now former friend, hates me over vaccinating. Can you imagine that? That's another one that's incredible to me. Is the vaccine stuff. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. In my personal experience, there are way too many people that claim to be left-leaning or liberal or anywhere to the left of Adolf Hitler that are anti-vax, and that causes a big problem. I mean, even, again, I don't want to, go into too many details, but even in Elizabeth City, there is a huge anti-vax, group in organizations and spaces here. Cloud, I think we're all dumb for engaging in this kind of I'm not saying it's dumb to criticize them, but the idea that these divisions exist in the way that they are, it's all manufactured. I'm not saying don't criticize them because they need to be criticized. But the idea that they need to be criticized, how we've devolved as a society to the point where these people can actually take up space, that in and of itself is the dumb part. The fact that we have to deal with this, it's ridiculous. The vaccine thing really is a big problem. You think it's just right-wingers that are anti-vax, and it's not. There are a lot of dumb fuck motherfuckers, and again, to the left of Adolf Hitler. And that's the group that I'm talking about. Those that agree with Adolf Hitler's ideals, there's no way I can appeal to them. They're lost cause, right? But anyone to the left of Adolf Hitler, I feel like I could maybe have a conversation with, right? But there is a huge problem with anti-vax garbage in left spaces, in organization spaces, in general, in families, everyone I know has someone in their family who's an anti-vaxxer loser. In America, at least, I mean. But it's it's wild. It's wild, the world that we're living in. The world that we live in right now is insane to me. It is insane to me. But why are people anti-vax? Where does that stem from? Paranoia. Vaccine hesitancy and hatred is rooted in paranoia. Imagine, though, the vaccine will kill me, but I'm going to eat fast food. Think about that. Like, and that's why paranoia is so illogical and irrational. There are some dumb motherfuckers that won't take a COVID vaccine, but they'll eat a Big Mac. What? What? My body, my choice! I don't know what's in that! I say, eating Wendy's nuggets. What? I don't know what's in that vaccine, I say, while I'm waiting on my phone in the drive-thru at Burger King. I don't know what's in that vaccine. I won't take it, I say, while in the frozen meal section of the grocery store. Like, think about that, though. Like, it's irrational. It makes no sense at all. No sense at all to be against the COVID vaccine and eat fast food. But people do it because paranoia isn't logical. It's just not logical. It's not like a real phenomenon that you can actually study. I mean, it is, but like, it's difficult to study for that reason, is that it's so irrational, it's so illogical, none of it makes any sense whatsoever, and it's dumb. It's dumb. And then people are afraid to engage in that kind of stupid shit, and that enables the stupidity. And I've been there. Like, again, especially during some of the Elizabeth City protests. Right? Like, there were a lot of people, and are a lot of people that were involved that are extremely against vaccines. And I was baffled by that. I thought it was the most strange thing in the world. I really did. But I'm not gonna, like, fucking go out there and fucking, like, you know, cause a ruckus. I'll respond to a ruckus, but I'm not gonna cause a ruckus. But just, like, witnessing that kind of shit in person, really, it provides me an analysis that I think most people that don't do in-person organizing don't have. Bodily autonomy is incredibly important. That doesn't mean people shouldn't. Bodily autonomy is important, absolutely. But again, how many people that care about bodily autonomy when it comes to vaccine garbage, how many of them have ever read a nutrition label? Ever. Like the average motherfucker who says, I don't know what's in that vaccine. Have they ever read an entire ingredients list on the back of a box of any food item ever? Have they? Because I feel like that Venn diagram's a circle. Those that are vaccine hesitant and those that don't read food labels or know what's in their food, I feel like that's a circle of a Venn diagram. I don't know, man. I'm pissed off. I hate the world. The world sucks. Anyway, that's the show, I guess. I'll try to talk about that thing tomorrow. But you know, I've not been doing too much research lately. But anyway, They're all just succumbing to peer group pressure. Absolutely. Peer pressure is a powerful it's a powerful drug. People, like, again, this is another phenomenon, is people, like, treat the real world like it's high school. Like, a significant portion of humanity think, like, they never evolve past high school when it comes to social dynamics. Like, people are afraid to speak up. People always want to be at the cool kid table. You know? If the majority of people say something that you might slightly disagree with, you're not going to open your mouth because you want to be at the cool kids table. You'll listen to what dumb people say because other people are listening, and if other people are listening, then they must be smart. Hey, I dropped out of high school. I looked at that whole culture, I said, not for me. But most people are stuck in that mentality. I mean, look at partisan politics. Look at like anything in this world. It's like musical chairs in high school lunch tables, and everyone's trying to sit at the cool kids table at all times. And it's weird. It's strange. Peer pressure is not just something that exists when it comes to passing a joint around. Oh, but I've never tried weed. Oh no. That's the least of our concerns when it comes to peer pressure. Peer pressure into thinking and saying stupid things. Wow. Now that's peer pressure. People are so afraid of, like, being seen as, like, lame or weird that they're willing to do and say and behave, do and say stupid things and behave completely irrationally just so that other people don't think that they're weird. And don't fall into the clout trap. I mean, that's a good way to describe it, the clout trap, you know? Like, you see that exemplified on social media. Social media is that, like, multiplied by 15,000. But this is also, like, you see it in families, too. I just talked about that, Jay. How's it going, by the way? You see that in families, you know? There's always, like, the weird part of the family and the cool part of the family, you know? You see that in friend groups. You see that in any organization. And I've got a two-pronged solution. One, people need to be able to handle different opinions. And two, people need to be comfortable saying things that are not necessarily supported by the people in the group. That is a two-pronged solution. People need to grow the fuck up and accept different viewpoints, and then other people need to actually grow the fuck up and speak their fucking mind. I have no problem doing that. Then again, I dropped out of high school. So I said that was not for me. No one wants to be the outsider. I've always been the outsider. I'm a fucked up kid from the jump. I developed as a fucked up kid. I never had any friends, so I don't need them. I'm not going to make my entire personality about trying to have as many cool friends as I can. That shit sucks. Fuck that. Fuck that. Drop the school, just get high. I agree with that. That's a message I can I can get behind. I've always been the outsider. Always. Because, just a fucked up kid. It's just an accident of nature, I suppose. But, I don't know. People, we're a social species to such a degree. I've seen, this is a phenomenon that I've seen. Right? Where it's I don't, the idea that, being a protester, right, in a small city, right, that I've done, there are people that, if you would have met them at a bar, in a different context, and had a conversation, you'd probably be in alignment on most issues. You know what I mean? But then, if the context is someone sees you protesting with a megaphone, saying, yeah, this shit's fucked up, they're going to be like, why do you care so much? Why are you spending your time doing this? Don't you know nothing will happen? Why are you doing this? They'll stare at you like you're a fucking zebra. They might agree with you on all the issues, but the idea that you are putting yourself out there, that's weird. That's strange. Why are you doing that? It's weird. It's I don't know. I don't have a fully synthesized perspective here, but I'm working things out in the old noggin. Another problem is that people have no fucking agency. Or at least they feel that they have no agency, and therefore they act as if they have no agency. When's the last time you have made a positive change in your life? When's the last time you did something that you wanted to do, but you were uncomfortable doing? Think about that. For me, the biggest thing that I can point to was fixing my diet. My diet was completely fucked. For those of you that don't know, I used to be like 100 pounds heavier than I am now. I know it's hard to imagine, right? Look at me, so thin and beautiful. My diet was a disaster. It caused significant health problems my entire life. And then there was this moment where I was like, something's got to give. Got to make a change. And was it uncomfortable? Absolutely. Was it weird? Absolutely. Was it hard just to learn all this stuff? Absolutely. But I did it anyway. And I feel better. I'm significantly healthier. Without going into too much detail, about 2 years ago, I started developing significant health problems. Right? That would be they would impact my daily life to such a degree that it caused a significant depression in me. And I was like, I gotta, either I make a change or I stay on this track and I'm gonna be unhappy my entire life. And I feel like most people choose the staying on the same track and being unhappy their entire life. Most people eat the same way they did when they were kids. Most people behave the same way they did in high school. Most people, don't evolve. Most people just, they stay in that same routine Because humans have an ability to adapt to their environments. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I feel lethargic. Well, I guess that's the new normal. Everything is the new normal. Oh, I can't see that well. New normal. Oh, I can't chew on the right side of my mouth. New normal. It was a shock to my system when I learned that so many grow-ups never really grew up. That's me too, Andrew. Me too. My thing is like... Again, like most people, I mean, 95% that don't eat vegetables, I feel like that's the quintessential... That is the quintessential statistic that I feel like everything else can be derived from. Like... Again, 95% of Americans are so broken that they cannot and do not eat properly. You know, and that's the other thing is like, capitalism is so hard-rooted that like, the default in society, right? Like the default track in society is so manipulative and disruptive to like, you know, basic health and consciousness. Like I remember being like fucking 10 years old and they ask you, what do you want to do when you're grown up? What do you want to do? They try to like start, what do you want your career to be? What job do you want to have? Right? Like what college are you going to? And you're fucking like 13, 14 and it's like, I don't even, like, you know, like, but they just root that in there. They, like, it's just, it's incredible to me. I mean, it's just, this whole society, capitalism in general, it's just, it's all fascinating. It is fascinating. It is absolutely fascinating. But anyway, maybe I'll write a book about it. You really are an inspiring person. Never underestimate that because you're reaching more people than you know. Well, I have 29 viewers right now, so I'm not reaching too many people. I used to get 100 viewers. Now I only get 22, according to YouTube. People are leaving. I am so uninspiring that people are clicking off. But personally, I don't care. I would rather have 30 people actually care about what I'm saying than 100 people that are just like listening and not really caring at all. Maxie, you want to come over here and say goodbye to the stream? Come on, bud. Come on. Come on, Maxie. Come on, buddy. Ooh. Another thing, I'm going to get a little existential here for you before we leave. Also, dog. So I've been thinking a lot about consciousness, the mind, how thoughts work, what thoughts are. And I've come to the conclusion, as of this moment, that what is in your brain, like for me, the way I'll describe this is I've got like, you know, there's like 4 tracks of commentary. You know, going on at the same time? Ish. You know, that I can, like, identify. So, like... But, like, the further you go into your subconscious thought, like, the things that, like, aren't even in words, you know? To me, I find that fascinating. Because, like, I've been really thinking about, like, cults and Christianity. And, you know... Everything that is in your head, like, you have no control over. Like, your brain is just processing the world around you, right? And it gets sucked into your subconscious. Subconscious. whatever it is. I don't, those words always fuck with me. And so, so a lot of people, it's just like the background, like the things that they think, like you can, if you want to change your thoughts, you change your environment, like there's several layers of thought and how thoughts appear, in your brain. And most of them are not derived from you, but they're derived from the environment. And so, like, if you live in an environment where, like, Jesus is real, like, you will hear Jesus in your head, but that's not Jesus. That's just your subconscious that believes in Jesus, right? Thinking that Jesus is real. And because the whole world, as we experience it, we're all just kind of like wandering through the world, like hallucinating in a really like decent way. Like the world doesn't exist the way humans perceive it. Human perception of the world is just that, human perception, right? And so if you believe Jesus is real and that Jesus talks to you, if that's real in your mind, then Jesus might as well be real. And that's another thing with ghosts. Think about ghosts. People will hear things and see things, and they think that they're ghosts. Why do they think that they're ghosts? Well, because they already think that ghosts are real, and so if they experience like a glitch in their perception of the world, their brain goes to ghosts. I had this experience recently that really like kind of continued this thought that I've been thinking about a lot. So I woke up in the middle of the night because Max was growling. Because he's a puppy. Look at him. So whenever Max hears like someone like walking up the stairs, like a family member or something, he growls. And so it's in the middle of the night for me, so like all of my senses are not, in peak working condition. You know what I mean? So Max is growling, he wakes me up and he barks. And so my brain, given the fact that I woke up, so like I don't have any sensory information before waking up, and I wake up with Max growling and barking, right? And then my brain, I literally heard creaks on the staircase. Because every other time I've ever heard Max bark or growl, someone's walking up the stairs or doing something in the house, right? And so my brain assumed, right, that someone was coming upstairs. And so my brain generated a sound of someone coming up the stairs. And no one was there. Now, some people would interpret that as a ghost. Some people would say, well, that's a ghost. Right? Especially if, Max, look at him, he's dogging it up. Especially if Max felt it and I felt it and I heard it, it has to have been a ghost. But that's not the only explanation. Another explanation is Max woke up, had a scary dream, which happens sometimes, that resulted in him barking, and then I woke up assuming that the barking was in relation to someone like coming upstairs to like, I don't know, wake me up or need something or like, I don't know. And so I hear people on the stairs. Well, I don't hear people on the stairs, but I hear like a creaking sound. Who's to say that? Why would that? Maybe that was like wind, like having something hit the side of the house, like a branch hit the side of the house or it create. But like, my point is your senses are not perfect. Like the world may seem complete, but that's just because the human perception of the world is such a way that we feel like it. The way we see the world is the world. And so my point on that is that a lot of people are products of their environment. A lot of people, like, the things that go through your head are as a result of what you're listening to, what news you're consuming, what if you have a religious family, people that believe in ghosts because everyone has glitches in their perception. It always happens. Everyone. Some people's explanation, Jesus. Some people's explanation, ghosts. My explanation, human perception isn't perfect. Sometimes there's holes. Think about it like a car. Sometimes the car doesn't start. Sometimes when you're driving the car, it makes a noise. You don't know what it is yet. Maybe the noise will go away on its own. But nothing ever works 100% perfectly all the time. Combine that with most people's diets being horrible, and so their brain is literally functioning at 60% of what the brain should be functioning at, power-wise. People are more prone to creating glitches in their perception. If you play a video of wolves howling, will it make Max howl? I don't know. Sometimes that happens in movies when I have the speakers on and it doesn't really affect them. I don't know. Anyway, I've been thinking a lot about this stuff. Consciousness, perception. Especially since the pandemic started. Because, people have been perceiving openly different realities. And then, again, there are people that exist in the world. In their world, again, if all the news, if everything you're around, all your if in your world, some people's worlds, Donald Trump really won the 2020 election. They are so in deep that in their world, that is real. That is the real world to them, because we're all experiencing things in a different way that are generated by our past experiences, our environments, etc. But anyway, that's all I got. So, thank you all for watching. Y'all have a good one. I will see you again later.
That isn't what it meant.
Well, what did it mean then? Explain.
It meant that it's indicative of low-resolution thinking.
You used the word smart. So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Jeff.
It was an amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest. And I just spoke to my people.
But I think the juxtaposition of that versus some of the things that we've canceled recently, some of the money flying at her, with the money flying at her, but the woman with the leaking pussy, but the woman with the leaking pussy, woman with and the whole thing, and the girl dancing in the shoe that.
Across this country, we've seen this new phenomenon lately, chanted at sporting events and on signs. The phrase is, "Let's go Brandon."
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.